Care products, samples, and business opportunities are available at getgreathair.biz. Good Friday morning, partly to mostly sunny today with temperatures approaching 40. It'll be partly to mostly clear tonight, about 25 to 32, light winds through tonight. It'll be near 40 with partly sunny skies Saturday. Chance of some light snow Sunday, mostly cloudy around 22, definitely cold enough. Sunday night, New Year's Eve, partly cloudy in the low teens. And New Year's Day, partly to mostly sunny in the low 20s. Educate, entertain, and empower. We're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. 2 attacks on Coptic Christians in Helwan to the south of Cairo have killed 12 people, according to Egyptian officials. It's emerged South Korea seized a Hong Kong-registered ship last month on suspicion of breaching international sanctions by supplying oil to North Korea. A fire in an apartment building in the Bronx in New York has left at least 12 people dead, and Turkey has signed a deal with Russia to purchase $2.5 billion worth of surface-to-air missiles.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning to everyone. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Harden, and I have some more special guests with me today. I have Mr. Gregory Alexander, Johnny Moore Jr., and Mrs. Erica Tate. So good morning to you all. Get the microphones turned up. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. And so today is day 4 of Kwanzaa, and we will be discussing cooperative economics. Now, I told them this is not my strong suit, so I'm going to just sit back and listen to the experts give their feedback on this topic. But first, I would like to give you some brief introductions. All right, starting with Mr. Alexander. He is a licensed sales producer with Allstate Insurance. He's been ministering for 20 years. Oh, man. And he's the president of the Black Business Association, and that's been for 2 years. Yes. Thank you for your service. All right, and so Mr. Moore. Okay, Mr. Moore has been Myers-Briggs Type Indicator certified since June 2000. You'll explain more what that is in a moment. It says the MBTI has been used for more than 60 years, helping individuals understand their personality types and careers compatible with their type. Interesting. Mr. Johnny is passionate about educating our youth about illustrious career opportunities and teaching them money management to accumulate wealth at a youthful age. Much needed. Mr. Johnny is a former financial advisor for Morgan Stanley in 2006 and completed the Dave Ramsey Financial Coach Master Training in April 2017. He is currently offering career financial coaching. Mr. Johnny retired from Arkansas Northeastern College in June 2017 after working for 15 years as a missions career counselor. In his spare time, Mr. Johnny enjoys fishing and spending time with his family. And we'll make sure to get you contact information for each of these individuals after the show if you would like to speak with them directly. And now we have Mrs. Erica Tate. She is the director of MPO, which is Metropolitan Planning Organization. Okay, and she's been in that position for 3.5 years. She's involved in various community organizations, and she has a bachelor's in economics and finance that fits right into this discussion for today. So I'd like to thank you all for accepting my invitation and joining us today to share your knowledge and wisdom on all things financial. Hopefully we can get some people inspired. Hopefully everyone is out there taking notes, and they can learn a little bit more if they have any business ideas or know someone that has any business ideas. I want to give a few Facebook shout outs. Mr. Larry McKissick, great morning. Thank you for tuning in. And Betty Speed Carter says, love it. Thank you all, and to everyone else that are tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comment section on our Facebook live stream. So without further ado, we're going to get into our topic of the day. The first question that I would like to throw out is, how would you advise someone who has a desire to start a business? And maybe that may not be the best starter question, but we'll start there and then let you all take it to the next to the next level. We're gonna start this way, okay?
How would I advise someone who is interested in starting a business? I would encourage them to start the business, but first do as much research as they possibly can in that particular business, because there's more to just starting a business than just doing something that you love. You have to take into account the business aspect of it, as far as accounting, managing, marketing, advertising, and things of that nature. But I would encourage them to do as much research as possible and educate themselves before starting the business.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Moore?
I would say if you're going to start a business, you need to do something that you're capable of doing. Make sure that you have the expertise to do the business well. You need to know who your competitors are also. If you're going to be in a business, you need to know the strong points and weak points of your competitor, and you need to find an advantage for yourself in that particular business so that you can attract customers in that market. And you need the financial resources.
Okay.
I've read research stating that the first 5 years are the most critical time for new businesses, and I think a lot of businesses get in trouble because they don't have the money to advertise and do the things that they need to do to compete with their competitors.
All right.
And I would just add that I think it's important for up-and-coming business owners to take advantage of the resources they have in the community that can help them. For example, I know we have the Delta Center here on A-State's campus. They have a lot of resources available for small business owners. You have the newly opened Innovation Hub, that they have shared spaces and equipment for some business owners that they may want to use. And also just learning from existing business owners and engaging with them. We have a very active chamber, so that could be a great resource for somebody wanting to come into business to better understand what's available in the market, and also some challenges that existing business owners have experienced.
Okay. So before we go any further, let's go back and break down exactly what economics is. There may be some people who simply have no idea what that term economics means. They think maybe money, but there's so much more involved in that. So go back around this way. Or whoever would like to go.
Well, I would say my understanding of economics is, you hit it right on the head, Kabila, that it is more than just money or even financial management, that it is an interrelation of many things, including financial savvy, good money management, obviously, but also knowledge into how those are related to upward mobility, community or cooperative economics, the existing structure. In our country, we have more of a capitalistic society, so understanding how one's upward mobility or financial management is affected by the society and culture. And I'll leave it right there so some others can join in.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
I would add economics should be a plan that every community has, and the goal would be for the money to circulate among the members of that particular community. So Jonesboro has its own economy. And then neighborhoods within the Jonesboro community have their own economy. So you have a U.S. economy, and then you have a local economy. But the goal should be for the money to circulate back into the hands of the members of the community, to create jobs, and to build wealth for the members of that particular community.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, would you like to weigh in on?
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with Mrs. Tate and Mr. Moore. But just to add on to that definition, thorough definition of economy, the cooperative economy, I see it as a vision and being binary in its scope, with the individual as well as the collective community, and the individual doing as well as he or she possibly can, and then the group or that particular segment, its economy. adding to it, and they working together with a broader vision, seeing that they want to create the best economy that they possibly can, working together.
Okay, and that leads into another question. With more minority businesses opening, how would you approach the community to support those businesses? And again, another question that can go into that, small and local. And so not necessarily just minority, but also small and local businesses. Why is it important to support them? And then how would you, approach someone to encourage them to support them? Anybody?
First of all, how would I approach the community to support? What was the first question? To support minority business that are recently opening,
Yes.
And how would I approach the community as far as supporting or patronizing that particular business? I would say that we should support businesses, small businesses or minority businesses that first warrant or merit our patronage. I mean, we definitely want to introduce that business to the community, that they are here, and let them know that their services are available, but we also want to make sure that we are receiving the best quality of service and professionalism that's available. And now I'm all for opening a business, but if it is a minority business and it is a poor service and poor professionalism, then I can't encourage the patronage of that business. It will eventually fail. So we want to make sure that they merit our patronage and that we support that business. Why? Why is it important that we support not only minority businesses or small businesses? Why? It's good for the economy. No matter what the ethnicity, when you support small businesses, you grow the economy. So what does that mean? That business will begin to grow. And once it grows, it creates jobs. And once we create jobs, we can put people back to work. I can't remember the name of the economist, but he was saying that if the black community would redirect 10% of their spending, money that we're already spending, back into our own businesses, then we can basically eradicate unemployment in our own community. We have a $1.2 trillion economy in the African American community, and we spend less than 1% with our own. And so I would encourage the community to spend money to help those businesses grow. But if they merit our patronage, you have to earn our dollar. Our dollars are important. So we want to receive the best professional service as well. But not only that, when you are professional, you merit not only black business, but the community at large. Everybody will want to do business with you if they are receiving a certain level of professionalism in their service. And being a businessman, I understand that no matter where you go, that money follows service.
Okay. I want to jump in real quick. I'll let Mr. Moore take over. I found there's sort of quote, but another explanation of cooperative economics, and it says supporting businesses that care about the community. So that's very important as well. Like you said, they have to care about the people that they're serving. They have to respect us, whoever we are, whatever the community is. They have to respect the people that live in an area and offer that quality service. I'm a stickler for quality customer service, but I digress. So go ahead.
I think it'd be great to have a black business directory.
Okay.
I don't know how many black-owned businesses are here in Jonesboro, so it'd be great if there was a directory in each city, for every community. But adding to what Mr. Alexander said, they have to provide great service at a competitive price if they expect to be patronized. So, but it would have to have a directory, and we have to be taught to support our businesses. Big corporations have taken over the market, so to speak, online, Amazon, the big .coms, and they put a lot of small businesses out of business.
I have been guilty. Sadly, I've been guilty of. I hate to say easier to go to eBay, Amazon, get what I want, simply because I don't want to deal with, or I don't know what I'm going to deal with if I go into a store. I just don't want to take the chance of dealing with somebody rude. I really spend my money with somebody. Not to say they respect me more, but just to avoid the potential of rudeness and whatever.
But see, going back to what Mr. Alexander said, if we understand the purpose of the money that we get our hands on,
Yes.
the goal should be to circulate that money in our community. So even if we might spend a few dollars more with a local business, if the goal is to circulate the money in the local community with the local businesses, then we're going to be loyal
Yes.
to the local businesses.
And I'm trying to do better. I am. I've been very guilty in the past of just online shopping, and the money is not even trickling back down into my community. Another conversation I've had with someone: when you support a local business, you know that person is putting that money back into the community. Their child goes to school here somewhere. They are involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, so the money is going to pay those other agencies or whatever the child. So just at a dancing class, it's something local, so the money just still circulates, like you said, in the community. So sorry.
That's okay. It's a good discussion. I think in addition to what Mr. Moore and Mr. Alexander said, or I guess to piggyback off something they said, I think community engagement is key. Economics is based on supply and demand. Okay. And a lot of our economy has gone to a more convenience-based model, and that's why you do see people buying on Amazon, and I do it as well, because it's more convenient for me to do that. But the community engagement piece adds an extra layer, a relational layer that will help me spend my time and invest my money with a small or minority-owned business, because I do have a relationship with them and I do know they're part of the community and that they are working to enhance the whole community experience and not just that of their business. So I think that we can further encourage people to patronize minority-owned and small-owned businesses when we think about the community engagement piece and when those businesses are more engaged. I know I can think of several examples where I've chosen to patronize a smaller business or minority-owned business because the owner was engaged in the community.
Okay. I want to ask Mr. Alexander, when Mr. Moore was talking about having a directory with the Black Business Association, is that something you all are working on or have?
We do have one. We are in the process of updating the directory, the Black Business Directory, and it will be available probably in 2018 with an update of Black businesses that are currently in businesses here in Jonesboro.
That's wonderful. So be on the lookout for that. Please let us know when it is available. So we would love to help share that information so that we can start getting more support for more businesses.
So how would a business get their business listed?
By contacting the Black Business Association. You can contact me and we will list that business.
Because I want to list it.
Okay.
All right, so we will make sure to get that information out to you all who are interested. Just contact us here at KLAK and we can connect you with Mr. Gregory Alexander, or you can find him on Facebook. Each one of you are on Facebook, which is now becoming the social place to go. So we'll make sure to list the spelling of their names so that you can find them and reach out to them directly. We have another message from Mr. Larry McKissick. We know what we need to do. How do we get the people to do it? And he said, myself included. And good morning, Officer Coleman, for checking in, and Mr. Mylan and Christy Conway. So he says we know what we need to do. How do we get the people to do it? How do we get people, I guess, motivated to get up and move?
And I think we talked a lot about kind of once the business is established and if they've done their research and, kind of we've been discussing as if the business already exists. Okay. But I think there are some things we can do beforehand, when the business is still in the idea phase, or even for training for future business owners about things that they can do to be successful. And then we can also train community members when we have networks. such as the Black Professional Network. We can start training students in the schools to be looking for, did you know that there was a directory where you can look for businesses that are minority owned and you can support them? We can start training people from a very young age to be expecting to patronize minority and small owned businesses, which is something that we generally don't do now. And I'm speaking generally. Again, I know there are specific instances where that does occur, but I think that is one way we can make this happen and perpetuate this through generations.
So we need to get the conversation started very early with our young people, because they're going to be the people that are spending. Well, they're spending their parents' money now, but they're going to be the ones earning and spending somewhere in the future. So we need to get them educated on all of these things.
And if I could add some more, if you don't know, you will find out soon that civic engagement and community engagement, especially in minority communities, is a huge thing for me. We could educate our children on where their money goes, how taxes work. If they do spend with a small business, that it does go back in their community, as opposed to if you spend on Amazon or Nike online or whatever, you may never see that money go back into your community. So again, teaching people how economics really works and reinforcing with them the goal of spreading wealth in a community and building wealth collectively.
Okay. Well, we're going to get ready for a break here soon, so I don't want to get into another question and we run out of time. But one thing you mentioned, I would like to throw in, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, but say there is a wealthy Black person that's very well known, celebrity, whatever you want to call them, and they have a business. I would advise still doing your research to see what other type of charities or community organizations do they support the money they make from their products. So that's just my little tidbit. All right, so you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Don't go away, and we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Are you lonely in your marriage? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Maybe you're lonely because your spouse is never at home. Maybe they're at home but still very distant. You're searching for intimacy with your soulmate, craving their companionship. What can you do when you're feeling so far away from your spouse? First, communicate your need to your spouse in a non-confrontational and non-accusatory manner. Let them know that you love them and want to spend time with them. Second, have a plan. Have in mind some specific ways that you can spend time together. Remember, your family first.
Want to connect with Mark on Facebook? You can at facebook.com/Mark Merrill. The Family Minute with Mark Merrill, helping families love well.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
For almost 3 years, KLEK 102.5 FM has brought you the music you love on your radio, on your computer, and on your phone. Now, we want to bring the music to your party, wedding, or any event. KLEK now offers DJ services for all occasions with over 22 years of DJ and broadcast experience. We can also announce your event on KLEK. Need a photographer for that special occasion? We got that covered too. Package deals available. Book us for DJ, photography, or for both for your event today. Call 870-203-9951 or look us up on social media at KLEK FM.
Karaoke and photo booths with a custom design of your event are also available.
Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center, offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. The all-new Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
Attention members and guests.
This is your girl, Sweet Angel, coming to Legends Barbecue Smokehouse.
The New Year's Eve countdown is on Sunday, December 31st, starring Sweet Angel, the Redbone with a saxophone, and the SAS band. Legends Barbecue Smokehouse, 1025 West Johnson Avenue, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Doors open at 7, showtime 9 p.m. For more information, 870-530-3121.
This Christmas, Craighead County Circuit Clerk Candace Edwards hopes that you and yours will be touched by the real meaning of Christmas. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. As we remember the greatest gift of all, we wish you and your loved ones a blessed Christmas and a blessed New Year in 2018.
Minister Patrick Bean and the Bonafide Worshipers presents the 2K17 I Made It Fest, December 30th, 2017, 6 o'clock p.m. at Fisher Street Church of God in Christ, 125 Fisher Street in Jonesboro. Featuring Felicia and the Supreme Angels, Preach Boy Span, Carlos Nichols, Roosevelt Harris, Pastor Anthony Heath, Worship Leader Evangelist Cheryl Rogers, R.C. Barnes and Another Chapter, and Brandon Morgan and Fresh Voices. Do you like the music you hear on KLEK 102.5 FM? Do you like the educational programming that we provide? Do you like the service we provide to the community? Do you like having a station to finally call your own that represents you? If so, please stop by or call any of our underwriters or sponsors that you hear on KLEK and tell them thank you for their support. The support of our underwriters and sponsors is vital for us to stay on the air. So be sure to let them know that you thank them for their support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Hardin, and my special guests today are Mr. Gregory Alexander, Mr. Johnny Moore Jr., and Mrs. Erica Tate. I hope that you have enjoyed our conversation so far. If you missed anything, you can always go back and watch the video after the show is over. And if you have any questions or comments during the show, please drop them in the comment section on our Facebook live stream. So we're going to keep the conversation rolling. We had a really great discussion off air as well. Sorry you can't be here for that. But I wanted to turn the tables a little bit. Before the show started, Mrs. Tate mentioned something about a co-op, and Mr. Moore was talking about that as well. That ties into the cooperative economic aspect, and I found this description. The economics inspired by the co-op business model. A new definition. Okay. Economics is the study of how effective the economy is at meeting human need in a manner that allows people meaningful, happy lives as an integral part of a healthy planet. Well, let's change the planet to community. But let's talk about the co-op model in the cooperative, in the word cooperative. So.
I think in relation, especially to this Kwanzaa principle, cooperative really means pooling resources together for the betterment or wealth building, kind of like we talked about before, of the community. Now that could be on a micro scale, meaning Jonesboro level, right? Or it could be on a macro scale, like all of the USA level. But I think in the context of this, and I'll talk a little bit about what I do. I direct the transportation planning process for the region. So the federal dollars are assigned here in our area for transportation projects.
Okay.
And honestly, kind of loosely, even the MPO as an organization is sort of a co-op, because we pool our resources together, being money, talent, time, plans, to make the best decision, theoretically, with federal dollars for our area.
Okay.
right? So that would be like a macro level. So a micro level would be carpooling. Right? Oh, okay. So a person could carpool, or a group of people could carpool to work, and they are pooling their resources together for the betterment of everybody. The average household spends more than half of their income on housing and transportation. So if you could reduce that by cooperatively living together or cooperatively traveling together, you would have more disposable income to put back into the community.
That's amazing. Okay.
I want to go back to what Mr. Alexander said earlier about the black community spending 10% of the 1.3 trillion that go through our hands to make everybody else wealthy. When you look at cooperative economics, I thought about how people go to work, get a paycheck, spend all of their money, every paycheck. And as I said earlier, when you look at economics, we don't need to be on the consumer side only 100% of the time.
Okay.
Consumers build wealth for investors and business owners. So with cooperative economics, we make a conscious decision to put our money to work for us.
Okay.
With the Dave Ramsey training, when he talks about budgeting, the definition is you telling your money where to go.
Okay.
So when you start talking about cooperative economics, we need to start telling our money to go to work for our community so that we can create jobs in our community, hire our people, build wealth in our community, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not.
Other communities do it, and we need to have enough sense to do it ourselves.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. I think, in terms of the $1.3 trillion African American economy, which is the 9th largest in the world, but we remain the poorest in the world, and especially in the richest country in the world, which is a moral disgrace. I think that what we also have to promote is financial literacy. I think that's the point that we're getting to in our communities. What we're missing is financial literacy. Knowing that we're spending all of our money and not saving any, and if we do save the money, what do we do with it? We simply don't know what to do with our dollars, or how to spend them, or use that 4-letter word, budget, how to cut expenses, and how to earn a profit, and even in starting our own businesses, how to create jobs. What is a W-2 or a W-4 or 1099? We just see question marks there. How do we do that in starting business? We just need basic financial literacy. We are consumers. We consume and we don't produce. We have to change that perspective in our community on how we see economics. And frankly, it is a difficult challenge to deal with, because we don't like to talk about money because we simply don't know what to do with our dollars. And so we have to be educated properly. We need to be literate on how we use our dollars and be intentional with our money. We have to educate our children on how to spend a dollar and what the value of money is. And money is more than just a medium of exchange. It's so much deeper than that. And so we have a responsibility to educate our community. As far as financial literacy is concerned, I believe that it will be a major impact on our community the more we know about money and economics and the economy at large.
All right, we have another comment from Officer Nathan Coleman. He said Dave Ramsey is the man. Everyone could benefit from his class. So I guess we need to start looking up Mr. Dave Ramsey.
Can I add just a comment to what Mr. Moore and Mr. Alexander said? To go back to the collective part, I think in addition to financial literacy and understanding how our dollars work, really understanding the power in unifying that to be collective. Just to go back to the example I used, in which I'm sure many of us have seen, if I buy a house and my uncle buys a house and my cousin buys a house, we're all three paying for a house. When if we could dwell together, we would be paying for one house between the three of us, which gives us more power, whether it be buying power or saving power or producing power, because we're working collectively as opposed to individually. I think that if you have 1,000 African American people who go through Dave Ramsey and they do it individually, it still won't be as powerful as if they all make a collective decision to pool their resources together wisely.
And I've seen a video, there was a family, a guy who bought a house big enough for, I want to say, some of his siblings or other family members. The house was big enough that they had their own spaces. And the wife, there were couples, so husband and wife, couples, husband and wives. When I say their own space, they even had their own bathroom. They shared the living space and the kitchen, of course, but they had their own bedroom, bathroom, and maybe a small another living space. So it wasn't like they were just on top of each other. But like you said, they were sharing the space, sharing the utility, sharing the financial responsibility of that one property versus each one of them having their own property.
And we do this in larger society, but then we just, for some reason, we don't translate it. For example, schools, everybody pays a millage. You live in an area, so that not one person is paying for the school. Everybody who lives, we do it in college. You have roommates, right? So everybody, the 4 of you or 3 or 2 of you are paying for the space instead of one. But then we don't translate that when we actually get upward mobility and get a job making decent money. We don't translate that into our everyday life in a way that could be more beneficial collectively.
Yes. So it's, in a sense, it's I got mine, you get yours. I'm going to look out for me. You get yours the best way you can. Some people have become very selfish, self-centered, and it's all about me and mine, and I don't want to share it. I would love to see more the other way. Okay, so I'm going to get off my soapbox. Okay, another question. Once a business is open, what investment and financial planning advice can you offer to ensure they are successful for years to come? Now, I know, Mr. Moore, you stated before that the first 5 years are critical with almost any business, and research has proven this. But once the business is open, I know, of course, there's a lot of work that needs to be done beforehand, but now they're open. What now?
A business need a budget just like an individual.
Okay.
So if they're going to start a business, they need to consider, the overhead on a monthly basis, all of the expenses involved. If they're going to hire employees, they got to figure the payroll taxes and all the taxes, Social Security. They have to figure every expense. A budget is critical.
Okay.
And also, as the money come in, a household need to save money, a business need to save money for unknown expenses that might come up. Plus, they need to save money in order to grow the business. So, have a budget, stick to the budget, save money, invest money to grow the business.
All right. Mr. Alexander, Mr. Pete, any comments?
Yes, I think that budget is extremely important. One of many factors concerning longevity, how do businesses stay in business over a long period of time, because business, of course, has cycles. There's going to be times where it's up, and then there's going to be times where it's down, and so you're going to need that budget, and it's imperative, but also to maintain, like I said once before, that level of professionalism and service. We find that many times when business opened up initially, they have that quality of service, and then it diminishes over a period of time, and people don't want to continue to do business there. But I'd like to add this as well, and we discussed this earlier. In order for a business to continue to stay in business, then they have to be flexible. In other words, they have to be willing to change. As we see with Amazon, they have completely changed the game. You must stay on the cutting edge of technology in order to remain in business. Amazon has completely changed the game. As you can see, malls are starting to go out of business because people would rather shop online. So take that into consideration whenever you're thinking about opening a business, whether you can provide an online service with your business. And I think that would help in longevity for business to stay and continue to be in business and stay open.
Okay. Now, another question, because, sometimes people want to, even though it may be a hair store on corner A, somebody wants to open one 2 blocks away. Like, there are multiple of the same type of business. So my question is, what if there's several people who wanted to open the same type of business? What advice would you try? Would you try to advise or encourage them to consider compiling their resources and opening just one of that type of business? So, say you have someone who wants to do some people want to do clothing stores. Instead of having 5 small clothing stores that maybe sell similar or the same items, would you try to advise people to work together to open one bigger store, or find a space that's similar to, I just said flea market. My husband is from Miami, and so he said down there they have these open markets where people come and bring their stuff, and people just walk around and shop. It may be 1 weekend or 2 weekends out of the month, or however they set it up, and they set up in different locations all over the city. People are coming together to one location and supporting each other, spending their money in this one area. So I'm sorry I asked the question in a roundabout way.
I understand. Yeah. It would be great if several people could work together and combine their resources to have a bigger store possibly and more products. But I think the key is that those individuals come together, form a plan, decide each person's responsibility, and be in agreement. I would say have a written contract or a written agreement before you open the doors, so that everybody would know what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
Well, I would say it depends on the market, right? For example, what occurs in Miami may not go over well in Jonesboro, right? So depending on the market, you may have an opportunity for several, I'm just going to use a boutique or a nail shop. You talk about a nail shop. For several nail shops to open and be offering a similar service, maybe not the exact same, and still have enough business. Now, you may not have that opportunity, and what we've seen some businesses go to is what's called a shared space. So again, they're all kind of doing their thing in that space. They're doing their own thing in that space, but then the consumer only has to come to one location, and then they only have to pay collectively for that one location, and they distinguish themselves however they do that. So I think it depends really. It's market driven, going back to that supply and demand. Do you have enough demand to supply several small businesses, or do you need to consider consolidating to get the most bang for your buck?
Okay. We have another Facebook shout out for Mr. Denicio Blanchard. It says, good morning, Q. Happy Kwanzaa, Ujamaa. I am really enjoying this discussion, and it has inspired me to create a business directory for BP in Jonesboro. Great job to all the panelists. Special shout out to my brother, Mr. Moore, Omega Psi Phi, and sister, Mrs. Tate. So thank you, Mr. Denicio, for checking in. And even though there are several organizations that may be focused on reaching minorities, I don't see why we can't still work together in some way. There's enough for everyone. There's enough people, enough businesses to go around that we can all have our hands in the pot, I guess you say, and still benefit from it as well. I would love to see, I can't wait for these directories to pop up, because I want to start spending my money intentionally with people who support me as well. Okay, I have a tendency to go on a tangent sometimes. I want to say good morning to Dr. Sharice Jones Branch for also checking in. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that is checking in. We would love to hear your comments and questions, just your feedback. So let us know what you're thinking. So, okay, I'm gonna let you all take it over. I'm gonna stop.
Well, I think I do want to go back to the education piece, the financial literacy piece, and really being for business owners, being proactive and creative in preparing your workforce so they can be professional, and perhaps someday even branching off and being business owners themselves, but preparing them with those soft skills. That is a way I think the community can help advance this notion and practice of cooperative economics is preparing people with the soft skills they'll need to be successful so that our businesses are competitive. Because let's just say I'm a business owner and I hire someone because I want to create jobs, but that person doesn't have soft skills. So then what are my choices? Either train them or fire them and replace them with somebody who does have those skills. Well, if we want to keep wealth building in our communities, then we have to prepare people for all aspects, whether they're going to work there, be the owner, be the tax accountant, be the financial coach for that business. We have to have a more robust educational system regarding financial literacy in minority communities.
I remember in one of my courses, we had to do some research, and I ran across an article that talked about many businesses are wishing that college would start preparing students and teaching them those soft skills so that when they do get into the workforce, just because of how fast things move, some businesses don't have time or resources to train somebody from the gate, right out the gate. They would love them to come in already possessing those skills. So what can we do then to reach out to, say, colleges or other education sources to say, okay, here are things that people really need to learn to be successful in the working world? I don't know, what can we as a community do? How can we start that conversation? Or maybe with
I think we can take seriously the associations we already have in place. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. When you have a Black Professionals Network, that can be some of the conversation. Are we struggling with this? Do we have experts in this? How can we spread the knowledge and the wealth? Or when you have we have several mentoring programs in the area. I know somebody was talking about one on yesterday's show. Are we taking those opportunities to help coach people and prepare them to be professional in the business world, and then to extend that on to perhaps owning their own business? Are we preparing them in that way? Are we using those opportunities we have and capitalizing on them in our churches? When we have a captive audience, are we taking the opportunity to effectively coach and prepare people?
Okay. Mr. Moore, so you worked for a college, so I don't know exactly. We work in the admissions and career counseling, but having an experience on a college campus, maybe you can help shed some light on how can we approach this with professors or different departments.
So go back to the original question.
Basically, encouraging college, either the colleges to offer courses, I don't know what business in the business department maybe. How can they start introducing teaching those soft skills? Sorry, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
So when we come back from break, we will address that question. How can we start encouraging, maybe on the college level, high school level, elementary, whatever, to introduce those soft skills lessons to students? So we'll be right back after these announcements. Please do not go anywhere.
They are doing it.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Increasing savings and eliminating debt are keys to improving your money matters. But we must also focus on generating income. Here are steps you can take to identify your side hustle opportunities. Sit down with a pen and pad or your laptop or tablet and do a real assessment of your skills, abilities, hobbies, and passions. Include the skills you use in your main job or profession, but go beyond that. What are you good at? What have you excelled at in the past? What are friends and family always asking you to do as a favor to them? Others might pay you to do that. Once you've completed your list, search the terms on the internet and see what kinds of part-time, consulting, freelance, and small businesses come up. These will provide clues to how you can identify side hustle opportunities for yourself. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM is giving you more praise. That's right. Starting Wednesday, January 3rd, KLEK brings to you All Gospel Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. Enjoy all of your favorite gospel hits and get your praise on all day long with Cheryl Underwood Radio in the morning, Brother Cobbs during the day, and Hezekiah Walker to take you into your local church Bible study. Plus, the return of the KLEK Praise Break. Lift up your hands, rejoice, and praise Him all day, all Wednesday, every Wednesday, on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Warm wishes for a season bright with special happiness. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Craighead County E911 Director Jeff Presley.
Metro PCS 311 South G Street hope that you will enjoy the special gifts of this holiday season. The gift of love, the gift of peace, and the gift of happiness. For the staff of Metro PCS, the holidays are not only a time for spreading a message of cheer and goodwill, but also a time to say thank you for your patronage and trust. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Metro PCS 311 South G Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Did you know KLEK has a brand new streaming app? That's right, you can listen to KLEK 102.5 FM anywhere in the world. The app is available for all Android phones and tablets, as well as iPhones and iPads. Just search your app store for KLEK and download the KLEK app for free today, and don't miss a beat of the education, entertainment, and empowerment on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Again, we are speaking with Mr. Gregory Alexander, Mr. Johnny Moore Jr., and Mrs. Erica Tate. I appreciate everyone that has given their feedback on our Facebook live stream. Thank everyone for listening out there if you're in your car or work or wherever you are. Thank you so very much for supporting KLEK and Community Conversations. So we're going to get right back to our topic. Before we went to break, I was asking Mr. Moore to go into how can we start encouraging teachers across the board, no matter what the education institution is, to start teaching and introducing the soft skills to students so that once they graduate and move on to the working world, they are already equipped.
Many of the colleges they're putting more emphasis on the technical programs.
Okay.
The high schools are going to the academy format so that the kids can get a specialty.
Okay.
Start on a specialty area in high school that'll carry over into college. But one thing that I would invite everybody to do, since we're talking about economics and businesses, I would invite everybody to get a copy of the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And they have a lot of versions of the quadrant on Bing Images.
Okay.
But what I would encourage people to do, if the goal of a business is to create income, hopefully long term, to create wealth, generational wealth, then we need to understand that the wealth is on the business owner, investor side of the cash flow quadrant.
Okay.
And also when it comes to businesses, we need to be trying to create businesses not just from us being self-employed as an individual. We need to understand passive income, residual income. Now, like Mr. Alexander, the insurance business, you got residual income from the renewals. And there are some businesses that pay six-figure residual income. So we need to understand the goal. If you got a W-2 job, that's okay. If you're self-employed, that's okay. But when you look at the recent tax bill, the people who are going to benefit the most are the business owners and investors. And we need to put ourselves in those two categories. We need to have businesses that we can leave for generations.
Yes. I remember I grew up in a rural area, and there were several little stores here and there that were owned by families. By the time I was in elementary, it was the mom and pop. But then when I got to high school, it was the next generation. Maybe their child was coming up in the store, or a sibling of theirs was now running the store. So there were a few, but unfortunately, the area that I grew up in, some of those stores are no longer open, simply because either someone got too old or the younger generation didn't see the importance of keeping that legacy alive. I talk sometimes about what legacy are you leaving for your children? You know, what are you creating now that's going to be long lasting? That's why I'm pushing so hard to get my degrees in different education, going to college and finishing my degrees and doing other things so that I can leave a legacy for my son, showing him how important it is to build early in life, and not get to the end of your life and say, I wish I should have, would have, could have. So we still have about 2.5 minutes, so any final thoughts from any of you all, any advice, words of advice, words of encouragement?
I think as we begin to grow and expand as a community economically, and we broaden our vision of economics and taking control of our community and our exports like entertainment and sports, and we've grown our economy to the point to where we can have a cooperative economic base where we can actually take control of the NFL, take control of the NBA, and start buying these teams so that we have more power, economic power. And some of the issues that we're facing today is simply from a lack of economic power. And so once we begin to grow and economically, then we begin to cooperate with one another and have a broader vision of the future so that we can leave that legacy for our children, knowing that we're working today so that they might have a better world and a better future for tomorrow.
Okay. Mr. Moore, Mrs. Tate?
He said it well.
Alrighty.
He did say it well. I would just add, we talked about how economics, or I did when we first started, is an intersection of many parts, and I think we've talked a lot about those parts today. So just really being informed, remaining engaged, and then thinking about the broader implications of our spending choices, and how we can affect the greater good of our community cooperatively.
Okay. I want to thank you all so very much for your wonderful words of wisdom. One more shout out to Ms. Helen Scott and Mr. Larry McKissick, said residual income with a heart. Generations have to be encouraged to help contribute an effort towards generational wealth does not benefit from it. Amen. So be willing to contribute and not just benefit from it. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in to Community Conversations. Don't forget, we have another show tomorrow. It will be from 12 to 1, which will be day 5 of Kwanzaa. We will be talking about purpose. And don't forget, Sunday is the Pass the Plate Community Celebration. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM